Hello. It says I have now gone live. Hurrah. Now I'm hoping that this week I'm a little more organised with my housekeeping. Doesn't mean I am, but that was the hope. And so that I can start saying hello to people sooner if I've got myself organised. And I think I'm there. Hooray. So hello Barbara, thank you for joining me. It's me at the moment. Mr. J has said he may pop down in a little while to say hello. Hi Sam, there's an item in the post to you now. And loving horses. Hello girl, how are you? So I haven't advertised this very early today. Oh, hi Anya. I've managed to not remember to put advert anywhere for it until about 10 minutes ago or less. So it might be a bit of a quiet chat, but that's it's going to be busier. It's already busier than it was a couple of weeks ago when I forgot to actually switch it to public. So hopefully it's set to public. People can find it, and I've got over hot already. Excuse me a minute. I have to do some housekeeping stuff like taking my socks off because I get very, very hot doing live chats. I get very hot thinking. I think that's what the problem is. When I have to think, my brain gets warm. That's my excuse. So Anya's here and Andy's here at Spanish Homestead. Helen, Darla, hello. Super Vizzy, hi, and Eduardo, hello. Thank you for joining me today. So I haven't got any huge news. So a little bit is over to you. Please do tell me what your weather's doing and where you are, and we'll have a look at what's going on out in the world at the moment. The weather here is cloudy. It's got quite cold. I've been in the garden all morning and I was beginning to get quite chilly, but mainly because I was sitting quite still with what I was doing. I was tying the stems onto a framework, and it wasn't digging or anything. So let's have a little look and see where people are. So Sam, you're in Australia. What's your weather like there? I'm going to work my way through. 66 red, 66. Woo-hoo, hello. A sunny, cold Germany. Nora and Hannah and Sophia are here from Canada. Hello. Sunny in Northumberland. First really cool morning in Maryland. Hi, Laura. Ben Croy Cottage. Hi, Liz. Mild and dry here in the west of Ireland. I'm having a hot, sweaty moment. Sorry. That's really not elegant, is it? I've got to say, I did think these days of the hot flushes had gone. But there we go. It's sunny in Somerset. Wow. I mean, as the crow flies, Somerset really isn't all that far away. But we are definitely cloudy and grey here. Andy says we've got our first rainy day in 22 weeks here in Spain, but back to 33 degrees next week. I'm not sure whether to commiserate with you or just say, how envious I am. I think I'm probably just very envious. We could probably do, 22 weeks without rain is tough going. But I actually really like warm weather. So 33 degrees would suit me just fine. Eduardo says, finally first week of cold in Texas. It's James. Hello, James. It says it's still dark here in Seattle. Matthew says, hi from Australia. It's overcast in East Sussex. Family Garlic are here. Hi, Shirley. Just trying to say hello to people as I also read about the weather. So I'm going to guess how I say your name. I'm going to say Hiker or Heiki. I don't know which one it is, but whichever it is, hello from a cold Germany. Some saying the weather has been rainy, windy, and spells of sunshine. It's a real bag of all sorts lately. Marie Ann is here. Hiya, how are you? She's in Denmark. and it's cloudy and quiet here. Well, at least it's not windy, even if it's cloudy. That's good. Rebecca's here. Yeah, it's almost missed your chat. I almost missed my chat, actually. About 12 o'clock, I suddenly thought, oh, I haven't got into the rhythm of Sunday afternoons being live chat stuff yet. So I was just getting stuck into a project and then thought, I can only be stuck in it for an hour and a half. But I can go back out and do some more after the live chat because we still have enough daylight hours at the moment. Rue's here. Hiya, Rue, and congratulations on your retirement from your previous job. And I look forward to find out what you're going to be doing next. So it's mild here today and showers in North Wales. Temperatures dropping to 3 or 4 degrees overnight. So I had a look, and I can't see my phone now, but tonight it's due to stay at something like 15 degrees overnight here. It's going to be 16. I think it said it was going to be 16 during the day and 15 overnight, which I was really surprised at. So we're not getting down to low temperatures here yet. Would you? You can tell gardeners, can't you? Because they know what the weather's like, what the temperature's like. So we're due to go down to 6 on Thursday night here, and that's the first night I've thought, yeah, that's quite cold, and then it's going back up into the teens again. So we are doing all right in terms of frost so far. Nora, Hannah and Sophia, it's a chilly morning in Ottawa, Canada. Barbara C, sunny and warm in Tucson, Arizona. A high of 90 today. Oh, that's nice. I think that's 30 something. Matthew said we had rain all last week. Whenever I see anyone in Australia and they've said they've had rain, I always kind of think, yes. You may well be in a bit that rains a lot, but I kind of, in my head, there's never enough rain. So James is saying the weather's been mild. Got some brassica starts under grow lights. Matt, hello. Lovely weather in Dorset. Hello, hope you're well. I'm very well, thank you. Anna's also here. Hi from southern Sweden. Same here as in Denmark. Good. Rose is here. Hi, Rose. What's your weather like over there in Georgia? And Katrina's here. It feels like there's lots and lots of people here already. That's very nice. I haven't even got anything to say. Well, at the moment, all I'm doing is reading out your comments. So there's a little bit of me quite nosy. I do quite like to know what the weather's doing around the world, because it kind of gives me a sense of where we fit in the grand scheme of things. Rose is saying it's the first colder morning here in Georgia. John says hello from sunny Monmouthshire. Jane's here. Hi, Jane. I'm on time. Thank you. Simbob Cross. I would love to know how to stop weed smothering seedlings on plots way too big to pick up by hand. I work on organic 3 acres. Okay, so I'm just going to ask, if you have a question, I will answer that one a bit. But if you have a question, can you put it in all capitals, and then I can see that it's a question for me or Mr. J when he joins us, rather than to other people. So in terms of weed suppressing in large areas, it's going to be cardboard or some other sheet mulch. Working on 3 acres, how lovely. And I think the other thing is think about what your weeds are, and can they be used for something else? So can you do chop and drop with the ones around your seedlings? And the other thing is maybe to wait until your seedlings a bit bigger to plant them out so they stand a better chance. But if you're putting them in a row, maybe you could put some cardboard between the rows. It might be a bit fiddly, but it would give those seedlings a chance. If anyone's got any other suggestions for coping with weeds choking out seedlings in an organic way, but on a large scale, please do pipe up and say and answer. Do an at Simbob Crafts and give them the answer. I'm just reading. Sorry about this. Jane said it's been very wet here overnight in Staffordshire. Now I've sun in my eyes. So we had rain overnight. It was almost perfect weather yesterday. It was warm enough to want to be outside, but cool enough that you didn't get too hot while you were working. Then it rained overnight, and I went out this morning. Everything's had a good drink, and it's dry again today. To me, that's just about perfect. Perfect. It just needs to suddenly do a thing of sun for a while so that we can go out with a drink at the end of the day rather than huddling a cup of tea. So let's have a look. So Matt's just saying, just wants to say thank you for all your videos. They've been extremely helpful. Good. I'm glad they're helpful. That is why we create them. Not just me. I think all the gardening, YouTube gardening and homesteading community are making videos in the hope that our combined experiences will help other people. Andy's saying the weather this year is crazy. 6 years of being in Spain, I've never known it to stay this warm in the season. I can't wait for it to cool off. No, that's just showing off, Auntie. Mary's saying we've been getting single digits here at night in Adelaide. So this is overnight temperatures. Lots of people saying hello to Jane. It's lovely to see you, Jane. We need to do a good phone call and a catch up and a chat before too long. So Jane and I go through phases, usually in the winter when we're not out in the garden, and we'll get on the phone with a cup of tea and we put the world to rights. So Bibbledy Bobbledy Boo, which I'm guessing is a reference to a fairy in a Disney cartoon, said, I always worry that carbo acts as a slug, as such a slug home. We had big amounts of them this year. Potentially, yes. To me, they are probably, using cardboard is better than having my plants overrun with weeds if I don't have time to weed out the weed seedlings, pull out the weed seedlings. There we go. Heather's here. Hello, Heather. And Tony's here. Hi, Tony. And Laura's joining us from Manitoba. I'm probably not saying half these names right. Sorry. And Regina, a plum tree question. My plum tree has been infested with aphid for the last 2 summers. No fruit. Do you prune back plum trees to help them recover? Thank you. Do you know what sort of aphids they are? Well, I think one of the first things I would do is if you find any earwigs in your garden, move them onto the trees, because I didn't realise this, but earwigs eat fruit tree aphids. How cool is that? I've always thought they were rather horrid little things, and then I discovered they have a really good role in the garden. So does anyone else have any other ideas for Regina for her plum tree that hasn't fruited and has been infested? I mean, the obvious thing is to spray them with water to move the aphids off, or to run your hand very gently across the aphids to dispense of them. But without actually, Regina, if you're a member of my Facebook group, can you post some photos if you've got them, and we'll get some other ideas from other people. That would be great. Ruth just say, can I say how awesome this community is? Yes, the garden community is absolutely awesome, fantastic, and incredibly supportive of each other, not just of me, but of each other. It's been such a pleasure to be part of this group of people. Right, that was that little bit. I was about to get all sentimental then. So Laura had a -1 degree C last night. Poor, chilly. Loving horses says, anyone else get earthworms in their Brussels sprouts? First time it's happened to me. They're even in 10 Brussels up. So have these plants been lying down on the ground? Have they had lots of grass growing up around them? And the only reason I'm saying that is I've had Brussels sprouts with masses of weeds, and I've found all sorts of things higher up that have obviously worked their way up, or the Brussels have been lying down. Let's have a little. I hear movement. Maybe it's just the cat. So, Maria, hello, and the Veg Grower podcast. Hello, thank you for joining us. So Maria says, "Hi Liz, how's your metal raised bed doing?" It is doing amazingly, and I'm going to leave it at that because my video on Tuesday, it is ready, so I might even put it out tomorrow. But this week's video is a look at what I've grown veg-wise in the garden in the 15 weeks that we've been here. Maybe it's 16 weeks, but since we arrived, to see what's grown, what hasn't, what's worked. So it's a bit of a tour through the veggies in the garden. So and that includes that metal bed. So let's have a little look. Good Gardening is saying we use ladybugs or ladybirds to treat our aphid infestation. So you can either collect them from elsewhere in your garden and move them to the right place. Although, to be honest, they would, if they're in your garden, they're likely to get to the aphids anyway. Or you can buy in ladybugs. You buy them in a little box and then put them in the direction you want them to go in. So Tony's saying you could try attaching ladybird houses into the tree, and their young will keep your tree clear. Do you know, I don't think I've ever even seen a ladybird house, so I'm going to have to go and investigate and find out what one of those is. So, Andy's saying we use straw here as a weed suppressant. It seems to work fairly well, and it's cheap. At €2 a bale. I'm not sure what they cost in the UK. So straw is really quite expensive here at the moment. But the other thing is that it works really well for you there, Andy, because it's very dry, whereas here straw is just going to become a soggy, cosy place for slugs to live. I know this one because I've done it thinking, I'll mulch everything with straw. It did work to an extent, but there were a lot of slugs that year. So Gail's saying that the Brussels sprouts that had worms in them, so these earthworms we're talking about, they were standing up, no weeds, they were in a no-dig bed. Well, that's very odd. So Victoria Wolf is here. Hello, good morning from New York. How are you? And Ruth's saying straw is around £4 a bale here in North Wales. Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing it for here, and that's for a small bale. So, Daniel, hello. Good day from Fort Smith in Arkansas. And Tracy's here. Hello, Tracy. How are you? What's the weather doing in Belgium? I know that it's very often very similar to what we had in Monmouthshire. So I'm really pleased you've been able to join us. So Barbara's using the portable chicken runs today to work a few areas near where I'm putting up young trees. They eat the weeds and are entertaining. And they'll also eat bugs that are lying around, or just bugs that are hiding. So I'm always fascinated by how chickens can see the minutest of something in the soil or on the ground and peck at it and seemingly get it. But then they can't seem to see really big things, like really obviously straight in front of them. I realise they don't actually look quite straight ahead, do they? But they have got incredible vision. They've got like 180-degree vision or something, much further than us. Kim is saying, good morning. Glad I woke up early. It's 6 a.m. in Southern California. Happy to be enjoying my morning coffee with my gardening family. Oh, that's nice. So So the Veg Growers podcast, says she, I'm squinting at the screen, and saying, I found grass clippings to be a brilliant mulch, but I get little trouble with slugs and snails. If you have very little trouble with slugs and snails anyway, you can almost get away with any mulch, can't you? So Tracy is saying it's cloudy, so lounging in the hot tub. Nice. Jane's saying, "Oh, my chat isn't working. Sorry, Sorry to the people I haven't replied to, folks." So for some reason, Jane is now back again. She's saying, "Jane, I'm just apologising on your behalf, and now you're back." That's good. So we have had an interesting week here. I think I should put interesting in inverted commas. Interesting week. We've had workmen doing stuff in the house this week, and honestly, I haven't been able to hear myself think from Monday, 8 o'clock Monday morning until 6 o'clock Thursday night. It was just been absolute chaos here. We are still clearing up, tidying up. You might be able to see behind me here. So this was dark red behind me, and I gave it a quick slap of white paint to make it not quite so dark. And there was a rail, a dado rail here, a decorative rail, but that had to come off because of the work that the workmen were doing. So now I've got bits. Now I need to redecorate, but that's okay. So it has been a busy old week. And then yesterday, Dave the Hero, who is now working with me one day a fortnight, was here, and we got on with some really nice projects in the garden, which I have filmed, and so you'll see those in a couple of weeks' time. And it's really nice to have somebody here helping who is doing lots and lots of just the maintenance stuff and help me do the really heavy things. So in some ways, just as Mr. J has done in the past, help me with the heavier things and things like strimming and stuff. So he's doing those, which means that Mr. J can then do other things with me at the weekend. So I feel like I'm getting masses done at the moment, but I've needed to be outside for the last 2 days to make up for the fact that I was inside Monday to Thursday. So Andy's saying, I loved your fire photo. Oh, so this is the one that I put on social media. I put a picture of our wood burning stove. I have also filmed that. I filmed all of that process of changing our wood burning stove, and that will be out on Byther Farm 2 channel. I think this week that will come out. I haven't put anything up there for a little while, so I think that will be there this week. But yeah, so I put up a photo saying that I feel like we're living in luxury. It has, having had the workmen here for 4 days putting in central heating, it feels rather hot in here because we haven't been used to having all the rooms heated. And it's one of those things where, I put the heating on thinking, oh, it's a bit cold, but actually it's not cold enough yet to need central heating. So I think we are sticking with putting the wood burning stove on early evening and let that run for a little while, because I hate sleeping in a hot bedroom. So if the bedroom had heated up, I'm immediately opening all the windows, and that's a terrible waste. So so Rebecca's saying, yeah, it looked cozy. It did look cozy. I managed to find a photograph of me sitting in front of the fire where it was being very cozy. And we bought a fire that's one of those super duper extra efficient, approved by DEFRA, and it's one of the new eco ones that seems to, I think it recycles the air, so it reheats it or something, which makes it more efficient, and it burns less fuel, allegedly. So James said, I can't sleep in the heat either. No, I don't mind if it's the summer and it's hot, because then you've got the windows open and you've got fresh air moving around. I don't like to sleep in a stuffy room where the air is not circulating. So Ecocentric Homestead here. Hello, hiya, and Kate's here. Hello, Kate. How are you? So that was not a glib. How are you? That was actual. How are you? How are you? How's David? Pause while I have a mouthful of water. That's better. Right, Kate says she's doing well. So, and Saron is here from Sow Grow and Cook. So, if you haven't seen my video that came out on Tuesday, I urge you to have a look at it after the live chat. Go and have a look at my last video. It features Saron from Sow Grow and Cook when we went to visit her last month, and she told you about her small holding, about what she's growing, a little bit about her past, a little bit about her hopes and dreams for the future. And all the while she's chatting to you, she is picking tomatoes, this enormous amount of tomatoes, and they were beautiful tomatoes. And what I should have said at the end of that video, and I didn't say, was that she picked 2 basketfuls of tomatoes and then she gave them to me and we brought them home. It was so nice to have what was actually just a glut of tomatoes, and we ate so many of them. And then the rest of them, I made some tomato sauce, which I canned, and then I froze some as well. So Saron, thank you for all those tomatoes. When you've moved to a new garden just at the wrong time to have lots of tomatoes growing outside, they were very welcome. So thank you. Yeah, so people are saying they loved that video. So basically, all I did was edit it, because Saron did the rest. She did all the talking and the keeping that flowing. And it was very easy to make a lovely video because her small holding is just so lovely. As Daniel's saying, so Daniel's asking, will there be snow before the end of October? There may be snow before the end of October. I don't think there will be here, but there may be in other places. Actually, I watched somebody somewhere. What did I watch? Half Acre Farm, which is my friend Sarah, who grows flowers. That's a flower farm on half an acre. And she's just put out a video about growing 10,000 tulip bulbs. And it's taken a whole year to film it. So she started out this time last year with planting them. And October the 15th, they had snow this time last year. And that was in not the very far north, but middly north of England. Is that a phrase? Middly north? Yeah, that'll do. So Saron's saying, how many jars did I? So in the end, I did 9 jars of tomato sauce, and the rest I froze, because actually I prefer to take out frozen tomatoes, like chopped or quartered sort of tomatoes, take them out of the freezer and actually use them in quite large pieces, and then I can use them in stews, and or just put a couple in a pan when I'm cooking some bacon and things like that. So I kind of almost prefer that. So Kate's saying it does take a while to get re-established, doesn't it? Yes, it does. In my head, that was going to happen really well. You know, this is me all the time. In my head, it was going to happen really quickly. And I kind of feel quite happy with how much we've achieved in the time we've been here. Everything is just on a much bigger scale. And I kind of hadn't taken into account how much longer it was going to take to walk from the house or from the barn to where I was gardening and it probably hasn't helped that I've started by establishing the food forest, which is almost the furthest away from the house. So I'm doing I guess I'm doing the most work first, which maybe is a good idea. Maybe that I will be very grateful that by the time I'm doing the areas by the house, I won't have very far to go, because by then I'll be tired. So Goulash says, good day from South Korea. We take possession of our new block of land next month. I've been watching your videos to get ideas of what I can plant. Can't wait to get started. That's exciting. It is exciting when you start with a new piece of land. And I still, thankfully, I still get incredibly excited every time I go outside. It's like, new garden, new things to try, taking all the lessons from the last place. And one of the things that I am not doing, or I think I'm not doing, is so far I haven't, and I don't intend to use any of that plastic woven weed suppressing membrane, which I used a lot in Monmouthshire. And then not long before we moved, I spent days and days and days lifting it all out of the ground, so that the people who bought our house didn't have a kind of a sea of plastic to lift. And it really made me realise just although it does its job, it does a job, and in some ways it's great, in other ways it's an absolute nightmare, because the weeds were still growing through it and still settling on top of it and growing. So let's have a look. So if you have a question for me, can you put it all in capitals so that it will stand out really easily, because I'm really enjoying that there's some nice conversation going on here. So you can send it saying trees need to be planted as soon as possible, but the undergrowth of the food forest could maybe wait longer. In theory, yes, but we brought so many plants with us. And when I say hundreds, I probably do mean hundreds in the plural, of plants with us, and they've all been in pots, and some of them have been in pots for the best part of a year now. I guess it was, no, they have been in for a year. It was probably the tail end of last summer that I started lifting plants and putting them in pots, thinking, we'll be on our new home very quickly, not realising it's going to take us quite so long to be able to find the right place. So I'm now quite keen on getting all those plants that their roots are bursting out the bottom of pots. I'm really keen to get those into the ground. So Laura's saying, as she's starting No Dig this year, thanks for the inspiration. It's looking so good. Excited to grow it in next season. Yes, the next season. Do you know what? The thing I was thinking about is in some ways, and Erica from Erica's Little Welsh Garden was talking about this the other day as well. She considers September to be the beginning of the gardening year. And I almost have got to the point now where I'm sort of thinking there's actually probably only December and a bit of January where I'm really, really hunkered down and not doing much in the garden. But I know that this year I will be, because I'm going to be doing structural stuff. But there aren't very many months where there isn't something we can be doing. It might not be sowing lots of seeds or growing lots of things, but there are other jobs that we can do in so many months of the year. Kate's saying I've got 6 new fruit trees to go in before November the 15th. Now, did anybody watch Gardener's World this week? So I haven't watched it yet, but I did see on social media lots and lots of people talking about having, I think there's 5 fruit trees makes an orchard. I don't know how. We had what I called a mini orchard in the last house. There were 4 fruit trees there. Do 5 fruit trees make an orchard? So here's a question: how many trees in your mind? Nothing official, though. There's no official thing here, but in your mind, how many fruit trees make an orchard? It's not a trick question. I'm just interested to see what other people think. Daniel's saying, I see in the Rocky Mountains there's already been snow. Ecocentric Homer said, I used weed cloth membrane years ago. Not happy with that either. I think it's one of those things that you learn the lesson after a while. Veg Grower Podcast saying, a love-hate relationship with weed membrane. Absolutely. James, where are you? You were asking, can you still plant carrots? Just remind me where you are, and then we can see what your seasons are doing. I think we're talking about the bloody awful stuff, dealing with it on my allotments, and that's weed suppressing membrane again. James saying, do you have any suggestions for winter cover crops at Zone 8B? So absolutely, James. In my What to Grow series of videos, I did actually watch What to Grow in November. I watched that yesterday. And in there, I talk about some of the cover crops that you can use. And I think I would probably do buckwheat and red clover. But I know other people like other things as well. And also the one whose name I can't say. So I'm going to think it's Facelia. Is that right? Facelia. I don't know how to say it. But anyway, in that video, I certainly talk about some of the cover crops you can do. So we're now having a look at how many trees make up an orchard. So Nana Ungalang says 10-ish trees. 5 isn't that many, is it? Well, I guess it depends on what size space you've got. But it's not, when I'm thinking of an orchard, I personally don't think of 5 trees being an orchard. But maybe that's because I am thinking of those massive commercial fruit orchards that we see, with rows and rows and rows and rows of fruit, and actually, couldn't one tree be an orchard? It's one of those questions to think about. Why is one tree not an orchard if you're growing it for the fruit and you've got other fruit bushes or something around it? So Tony's saying, I'd say at least a dozen. Anything else I'd call a fruit plot. So James, you're in Northern Ireland. So can you still grow carrots? I think it's probably a bit late, but I would probably give it a try with something like Amsterdam 3 or something like Sprint, which are quick growers. And what they will do is they may well germinate and start growing now. They'll sit in the ground over winter, and then they'll give you a very, very early crop of small carrots next year. But if you leave them for too long, they then just they start going to seed. So you may find that you can. I will always give sowing something a try and see what happens, but I'll just bear in mind that you're not going to get big carrots if you're growing outside. If you're growing under cover in a polytunnel or a greenhouse, then yes, you probably can, but just bear in mind they will be slow growing. So Nancy, hi Nancy, is saying backyard urban orchard, 5 to 8 trees. There we go. And Ruth's saying, I sow carrots over winter, but in the polytunnel. So there we go. Glad to know they work. I was trying to think when I sowed mine, but actually I sowed mine, the first lot I did was in April, and the next lot I think I sowed them in September to go through to late in the winter. So we're talking about different wind patterns. I'm just going to give Mr. J a shout to see if he wants to come and say hello. Put your fingers in your ears while I shout like a fishwife. Darling? Ha ha ha. Sorry about the loud shout there. I can shout a lot louder than that, really. So we're still talking about how many trees might be an orchard. Orchard suggests a group of fruit trees together. I think 5 is an orchard if they're all together. Yeah. What if, I had to go to the podcast, it's what if one tree has 5 different varieties grafted to produce different varieties on a tree? Is that an orchard? Well, that is a question. So if you've got one tree with 5 varieties on it, is that an orchard, or do they need to actually be separate trees? We're having what's the question? We're having I can't even speak. Philosophical questions about orchards today. There we go. Kate is saying, my orchard was 1 tree in the first year. I now have about 15, but most are still in pots. Yeah. 7 fruit trees in my small garden. I don't call it an orchard because it's a food forest. Yeah. Orchard to me means just fruit trees and grass. Otherwise, it's a food forest. Yeah, Angela, that makes more sense. Yeah. I'm not sure that unless you have got acres of space, that many people are going to have an orchard in that old-fashioned sense of just trees and grass. I think we've all got much wiser about better ways to use our land. So even if it's got grass on it, it's likely to have chickens or ducks or pigs running through it, or you will sneak other plants in, because I think we've all come to realise that you can't eat grass in any meaningful way. So right, just having another little look. Missouri girl, hi Liz. Got cold on us. Planting garlic and greens today. Nice thing to be doing. So part-time climber says, I usually plant 1.5 months before first frost for carrots. So there you go. That would be about 6 weeks before your first frost is due. So Laura's saying, how do you take care of a pear tree? Laura, I've got a video coming up soon where I'll be talking about care of pear trees. I'm going to be moving over in 2 seconds. I'm going to stand up because Mr. J is here. Oh, do you want to say hello? Hello, or I'll be with you then.
Hello, just for a moment, and you'll be with us then. Hello, how are you? Oh, it's like being the President of the United States in this house. She stands up whenever I enter the room. Believe that, you believe anything.
Can you be seen?
I expect so. I seem to see, I can't see anything, so it doesn't matter really. I'm a disembodied voice, yeah. Dear me. Never mind.
You're what?
Never mind.
Disembodied voice.
Much better to be a disembodied voice. Rue's Life says that she's frozen all of her tomatoes this year, chopped and mixed with some homegrown basil. Hi, Kate. Yeah, and I just heard that Liz was saying that she's going to do a pear care bunch, which of course makes me think of silly old kids' cartoons from
the Care Bears or the Hair Bear.
Oh, the Care Bears, please.
I like Care Bears.
No, the Hair Bear bunch. Mr. Peebley, Mr. Peebley.
Careful, you get some copyright for shouting that out.
I might have spelled it differently.
All right.
So hello. How's everyone saying hello to me? It's probably easier that way.
Here we go. I'm going to come back and join you. So we were having a discussion about how many fruit trees planted together makes an orchard.
Several.
So, well, yes, but on Gardener's World this week, I think they were saying 5. They suggested it was 5. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got something like the garden that we had in our first house, yes, that would have been an orchard. If you've got something like one of the fields we've got here, it would be what are those over there?
So
it's all relative.
Maybe it's relative. Yes, maybe it's relative.
And if it's your aunt and uncle's place, it's an orchard, and if it's someone you don't know, it's not.
So let's have a little look. People are saying good morning. Tracy's saying why my Brussels are all opening up on the stalks because they're absolutely ready to pick. Would be some of it. It will be. It will be a lack of water. It will be warm temperatures, and they're ready to.
And because they're ready for you to cook very slightly and then cover in chocolate so that you can give them to kids as Halloween treats.
That was funny when we saw that.
Best thing to do with Brussels sprouts, as far as I'm concerned, give them to someone else.
So family garlic, we think about 20 fruit trees makes a.
I do think it's relative. I think it depends on the size of the space that they're in. You might have 2 daffodil things, and that's wow, you've got a whole load of daffodils, or it might have 2 daffodil things, and it's oh wow, there's this 2 daffodil things in masses of space.
That's true. I stopped listening to him. Sorry, Dan.
I know you did. You always do. Most of the time when she stands up one end of the room, it's actually so she can leave.
So Jane is saying that the reason that the sprouts might have opened up is they've blown. I think it's a lack of water. I think it's warm temperatures and lack of water, and the plants are going, oh, it's time to go to seed, regardless of how big they are. Oh, is Jane heading off? Cheers, Jane. Thank you for joining us. I planted some spinach seeds a couple of months ago, and they went to seed. They put up their seed leaves and 1 pair of true leaves, and then they went into flower because they were just so dry. And so it was just yes.
Well, it's been a bit of a weird year for us.
They were so tiny. It was really sad to see, actually. So.
Yes, Victoria, there will be some more tool videos at some point. I suspect there may be one more this year. I'm not sure, but there will be some. I'll do a proper review of the brush cutter, fuller review of the brush cutter in the new year, and also of the hedge trimmer that I got at the same time. And there are discussions ongoing about some more tools, which we're not going to talk about now. Which
I glibly said we need.
Yeah, we need. You need to buy.
We need, as in I want. Yeah. No, we don't need it. It was a case of I want.
Isn't it? And there's another one that we actually need, which I shall be ordering at some point. I'm not telling you what it is. You can be surprised as well.
Oh, okay.
This is the woman who glibly says, "Oh, happy birthday," when she hands me a package, which is a staple gun. It wasn't my birthday either, but
I know it was, but it was a good staple gun. So our little, hand. This is not an electrical one. There's nothing that fancy. This is a hand staple, but not for stapling paper. For fixing stuff onto fence posts. It's actually to stick some
covers over the top of the duck house on this occasion.
Yes, to winterproof the
make it slightly less soggy. I think it's probably the best way.
Yeah, to stop the rain getting in. Anyway, so the stapler thing where you just kind of put it against something and push. It has broken.
I'm really rather worried that she's going to be using me as something to push against.
It's broken, so I bought a new one, but I gave it to Mr. J.
Rue's Life, we have what we refer to as an orchard: 1 pear, 2 apple, and a damson. Yeah, well, that was pretty much like what we had. What do we call that bit at the front of the house?
The mini orchard.
The mini orchard, yeah. Orchardette.
So Anya's saying my spring flowering bulbs are coming up at the minute. It's been a weird year. All right, yeah, it has weather-wise. It's been. Now, do we say this every year? Do we say every year the weather's been a bit weird this year?
Well, yeah, because it never does what you expect it to do when you expect it to do it.
Are we expected to do what it did when we were children?
No.
When summers were long and
They weren't.
winters were short.
They
So
weren't.
you got a little bit of snow.
And it always snowed on Christmas Day. Yeah.
Just enough snow to go tobogganing, and I don't ever remember it featuring rain or wind, except for when you wanted to fly a kite.
And it was never so bad that you couldn't get to school or work, and cobblers. Absolute total nutter tosh.
It's the romanticised memories of what seasons are like, and I think the answer is it's just chaos every year with the weather.
I mean, go back to August. No, was it October 1986? Was it?
How am I supposed to remember?
Well, the hurricanes, when all the trees got blown down.
That was the end of September, wasn't it?
Oh yes, September, October. But it was. Michael Fish saying on the weather, Mrs. So and So from Clacton-on-Sea has phoned up the BBC and said she's heard there's going to be a tornado. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen. Whoosh! Yeah, he never lived that one down, did he?
Right. That's so Victoria is saying. Obviously, Liz gives incredibly thoughtful gifts. We do actually have a 1987. That was apparently. We have a bit of a ban on giving each other gifts like that, don't we?
Yes, we do. Nothing that we can hit each other over the head with. No frying pans.
No frying pans.
No kitchen utensils.
Well, I think we've talked about my parents before. My dad once gave my mother, I'm assuming it was a joke. Let's hope so. But he gave
your dad once gave your mother a joke?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. He gave her a fish slice spatula thing for Valentine's Day. And I think she might have had some serious words with him, because the next year he took her on a cruise. And I tell the story often to remind this household not to give me fish slices for Valentine's. We don't actually celebrate
stuff Valentine's Day.
We don't celebrate it anyway, do we? So
October 15th, 16th. Thank you very much. I was on air at University Radio Bath during that. And there were people sort of phoning in fake reports about things blowing down on campus, which they shouldn't have done. People reading them out, which they really shouldn't have done.
Hello, Nicola. People are saying cooey. I obviously haven't said hello to people yet. Sorry if I haven't said hello to you. It's because the chat's going really quickly, or I got engrossed in talking about something else. So Suzanne is also here. Hello, Suzanne. Who else have I missed out saying hello to? Do you need your glasses?
No, sorry.
So please, please forgive me if I haven't said hello, because the chat does go quite quickly, doesn't it?
Yes.
So Ruth's saying hi to you.
Hi, Ruth.
Do you know what? It's 5 to 3. I reckon I could do another 2 hours in the garden before my back complains, my knees complain, and
then she complains.
And then I complain, and also my tummy complains because of a lack of lunch. So maybe I put lunch on now, then go and do some gardening, and then eat when I get back in.
Yeah, because you don't want to eat and then garden.
No, I certainly don't. Not at all. So Donna's just arrived. Hi, Donna. And someone else there has just arrived. Simply Paddy and Jane is back.
After a restart.
And Jean is here. Hiya. So I think we are going to wrap this up, because now I've started talking about food. My stomach is going to start gnawing itself in that sudden, let's eat thing. So thank you for joining us. I do plan...
in that first gluten-free cake, have I told you the story about the first gluten-free cake Liz made? You know she's gluten-free, don't you?
Okay, so you're going to do that as I'm starting to switch this off. Yeah. So you have to tell it
very quickly. She made this most amazing gluten-free caramel cake. It smelled fantastic. Put it in your mouth. You're salivating. It was just wonderful. You swallowed, your stomach went, Well, where is it then? It was so light. It was just smell and air, really, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. There will be a video on Tuesday. We will be back here next Sunday at 2 p.m. Even if I haven't put up a reminder about it, we will be here. So I hope you can join us then.
Bye.
Bye.